How do you curate? That's a great question, Pastry Diva. I think there's a multiple step to curation depending on your body of work. First is organization. So if you're curating, you want to make sure that depending on your media files or whatever files you might have, whether it's physical or digital, that they are in easily locatable content or containers, vessels. So whether that's in a folder, whether that's in a box, whether that's on a a file on your hard drive, in the computer, or even in the cloud, you want to make sure you know where that specific part is. Then you start to decide for yourself, like, okay, what are, you want to ask yourself questions like, what of my recent work / older work still resonates to me and still speaks to the values that I have as an artist in this part of my career. Then there are other questions that you can ask yourself, like, what here, if, something that comes up for me is, if I were to showcase my work to complete strangers without any kind of explanation about who I am, which of these works, when assembled together, has a message? I start to make like lists, or I start to like tag some of my work so I can locate them easier in that way. And then the other part of that curation process is actually just putting it online or someplace where it can be found / easily linked to, located, discovered, shared. The amount of times I've gotten asked, like, do you have, some work that we can see? And I just say it's on my website under this tab. What if it's a huge creative mess? Pottery, sewing, digital art, chocolate. It's all good. Creative, messy. We just embrace that, right? So it's not something to be ashamed about, if there is any shame. Don't want to make any assumptions, but it is something special about how we approach our creative process. I think it takes some practice to get to a point where you can say, this is not that important to me anymore, but it is sentimental. Or both. This is sentimental and important to me for what I'm doing. I would say in that case, then you need to, what helps, I think, I hate to say it, but I think what helps is having a label about who you are as an artist, right? So for me, in some of my bios, when I write them, I usually say actor first and then multi-hyphenated artist, because I also get into digital design, photography, but it's not necessarily my money maker in that regards, So the same thing still applies. I think having a sense of like, okay, all pottery belongs here, all sewing belongs here, all digital art belongs here, all chocolate related information, art, what have you, goes here. Then what you want to do is then decide for yourself from within those groupings, if you were to say, this is who I am as an artist, I am about creating inclusiveness. I am about, I value allowing myself time to discover a message, or I am someone who engages in various arts discipline because that's my form of expression. Then you'll want to find elements from within each of those categories to create that through line, which is why it's always important and always a dreaded thing when people ask, like, can you write an artist statement? It's so scary. It's true. It is. This is what building a community looks like, though, is write your statement however you feel your voice is, and find someone within your community, your group of friends, your mentor or something, and have them read it and have them help you write it. Find a copyright. There's nothing to be shameful about that. I feel like folks get a little dicey about having someone else read it and critique their work, and that's okay because we're allowing ourselves to be vulnerable. For example, my artist statement, I'll write it in my voice. And I have my partner, Sam. She is an incredible writer in terms of like grammatically and the concepts being conveyed, right? So, for example, she keenly understands that written language grammatically, there's the proper way to write grammatical, proper grammar versus like, yes, that's like colloquial. That's who you are as a person and that's how you speak. And so trying to change that so that it's proper grammar is not going to help, right? So find someone who can find that middle ground for you if you are creating, when you're writing your artist statement, because more than anything on paper, it should be like, oh, this is who this person is. / wow, look at their work. Always terrified making an artist statement. Wait, what's going on here with this link? Also, boy, I was just talking up a storm there. Yeesh.